What was it about you fucking another man that turned you off?
Oh well, because loko kusebenza loko kujuluka, it's too much energy.
Were you not maybe freaked out by the fact that you're penetrating another man's anus?
No, it was not that.
Okay.
I did penetrate the anus, but like it's too much. Ukuzokubamba umuntu ndiyakhathala. Ayo hayi ngeke akuyo yami ngeke.
Nkululeko on Cultr.
Nkululeko on Cultr. Hello and welcome to yet another episode of our channel. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you very much for liking and subscribing our content. Just past 10,000 subscribers now, so thank you so much for your participation on all of our episodes. Of course, as always, you engage on the content, you comment on the content. Don't worry about anything else. Today we have a very special guest. He's got a very, very deep and dense story. We'll try and walk him through the story. I think it's very interesting. A lot of people can learn from it. Sizwe Ncumatha is our guest today. Sizwe, thank you very much for joining us. So how are you doing?
I'm well, and yourself?
I'm good. Thank you so much, man. How was the flight from Durban to Johannesburg?
Shortest trip ever.
Yeah, 45 minutes.
Yes.
And you were going to drive as well to from Durban to Johannesburg.
Yeah.
How long was that going to take?
It was gonna take about 6 hours, the most. Yes.
Yeah, so 45 minutes, 6 hours. Saved a lot of time.
Yes.
Does Joburg look like the last time you saw it? Do you frequently come to Joburg?
Before I was arrested, I used to frequently come to Joburg, but in Joburg, saying this is engasaziyo, yabo.
Yeah.
And back then it was like 8 years ago. Go xa ndifike Durban, in Joburg. Like I don't even recall. I'm in Randburg right now, but I used to come to Randburg very often.
And it looks completely different now.
Yes, I don't even know what's going.
Yeah, I came across your story and I thought that this is a very, very deep and dense and very complicated story. So I'll try as much as I can to handle it with care, no judgment, no nothing. First and foremost, your story involves prison. Your story involves death. Your story involves sexuality, homosexuality. Let's perhaps do justice to your story and start by you describing to us your upbringing. Where did you grow up, and what was your family life like?
I grew up at Bizana in a small town in Eastern Cape with my mother, and my mother and father were married, so I'm born in a warm and family, right? So when I grew up, when I went to grade 8, I had to move to Durban because of growing, and I was an homosexual being. Imagine growing up as lling, whereby let me literally say it like that, istabanas funandao. So I was in the closet in Selekaya, but so it was into Italy, but my upbringing was very warm and loving, up to the fact that mama 2012, and then kwabakhona ama-dynamics agcina umuntu eseboshwa esazi impilo yasejele, and even before ngiboshwe ngikhombisa icala which engisazisolana ngalo. Abantu abaninzi bazibuza ukuthi why ndingalili, like bathi abanye andikho remorseful. It's because ndihambe i-therapy, understand, and ndihambe anything, but sizothi xa siqhubeka sinokuthetha I'll get into it uba nandibotshelweni kanjani, all of those things. Yabo. I was merely introducing myself right now.
Yeah, you talk about your family. How many kids are there? Do you have any siblings? Was there any abuse, or as you were describing it, it was a warm home for you?
There was no abuse at all ekhaya, but sasalwa emtshatweni ngamama notata sasazazi ba C4. Only after umama esaswelekile we found out ukuthi sinezinye siblings zikatata, from ukrexeza, from kuba nentombi on the outside committing infidelity emtshatweni wabo nomama. So I mean, I was quite close to mama, so leyo nto yanibetha. But I don't want ukuthi ngidwele as if ukubulala utata wami, because utata ukuhamba kwakhe emhlabeni ufa ngesandla sami, in which leyo nto ayindihlaleli kakuhle, but it's not into engihlala ndiyiphila. I can't live in the past, fanele ngiqhubeke in the future ngoku, and ndiyile i-rehabilitation center after ndenze leyo nto isihluku endisenzileyo, which eyonto iyohlala ndiyikhumbula every day. That is my main goal and driver uba ndibe successful in life ukuze ndikwazi ukuvusa ikhaya umzi katata ube le nto tata wayofuna ube yiyo. But unfortunately ngoku ndisazama, I've only got 2 months ndisaphumile ejele, so I'm looking for jobs, but there are those things engihaslisha ngazo like ukuzisebenza mna, trying to do matric jackets and all of those things, so abantu besikolo. So all of those things, that's basically my
You have how many sisters do you have?
Oh, my siblings, usisi wami one, but ngoku endandimazi waye-1 and wasweleka ndisengaphakathi ejele. That was the most painful thing eyakenzeka kum. And secondly, osisi bami bathathu, it's about 3 abaphilayo ngoku, because those sisters baba zi-half sisters kum, because bazalwa ngutata, not my mother.
Yeah. What kind of child were you? You mentioned homosexuality. How early did you notice ukuthi you are gay? And did you have the vocabulary? Did you know ukuthi this is me being gay? That means I have to date other men. What kind of kid were you?
Okay, when I grew up, I used to play with girls, abo babalwa, abo bulelwa, osisile sidlala imizi, but I didn't know what was wrong with me at that stage. But I reached adolescence age, like at the age of 13 years old, whereby umuntu seqala emila ngaphansi, seqala uba nama feelings for other females. But I mean, I was different. I had feelings for males, like umngani wami, which I don't want to mention right now. Yeah, I had a crush on him, yabo, ngalendlela esikoleni, but I did not understand what was going on. Then sendlini ndibona uba ndiyamthanda, and I used to cry. This was why am I different from other boys? Because nam in betili denial yokwamkela my own sexuality at uqala ukwamkela. But ndithe xa sendifunda standard 10 labona uba it's beyond mina lento andiyiphile, because ndaqala ndayamkela. Then I came out to a family, and fortunately a family yam yandamkela. In as much as mama qala ba ne problem, but she went for therapy. Usweleke say understand that what is my whole family has about my sexual status.
Yeah. Take us through the first conversations that you had with your mother and the setting as well. What happened? Why did you feel the need to explain to them your sexuality?
Okay, I was in Mangosuthu in 2010 at Seshari then. At that time, my mother and I were very close. She used to talk to me, and she used to kept on asking me about when am I having a girlfriend, and I felt like and pressurized alone, yabo. So, and already at that time, in 2010, I accepted that I'm gay. I'm gay.
And how old are you in 2010?
I was 18 years old.
Okay.
So, I'm gay. So I decided, Mama, we were very close now, yabo. Then Moiga, I got to tell her face to face. I was not home. It was one of my cousins. I sent her a text message stating that I'm gay, yabo. And my mother was so warm. As much as she was against it at that time, because I'm telling you, because I'm gay, because as much as growing up watching, yes, I used to see you were different from indlela odlala ngayo, indlela behave ngayo. But to finally hear you say it, but it took her time to accept it. But though she did accept it, therapy say right, and some cases but my partners now, we're talking about my gay lifestyle and all of those things. So my mother and I were quite close.
Yeah, and
then the whole family, accept her. My father, believe you me, he shocked me. I was expecting that to be against what no, nyanam. Wena undenzele into eyi-1 wanenzela proud waba ne-diploma or a-degree into ebendiyifuna kwemntanami ukwazi ukuziphilisa anandaba uba wenza ntoni enye nge-spare time, because mina ayindicapha.
It doesn't affect him.
Yes.
It's incredible that was his reaction.
Yes.
What kind of man was your father?
Utata was the perfect man ever. Because utata bengaphili esasidala sasezilalini, like uba inkwenkwe ayidlali iphi bengekho judgmental. Utata besikwazi ukudlala naye everandini ekhaya sithelane ngamanzi, yeah. But uyayazi utata basezilalini bahlonishwayo, but like there are things that you don't say to your dad. You don't have certain conversations with your dad, but that we used to have open conversations now, yabo. And literally utata was the perfect father to have.
Mm-hmm. Maybe let's walk through the varsity before we go to the deeper stuff. What did you study at university, and did you complete the course?
Okay. Go 2010 I enrolled with National Diploma in Accounting Emangosut after I passed matric in Claywood High in Durban. So I enrolled. Then 1 year and 6 months, then it was 2011. Then ngafumana internship, it was UTI 2011. Go enjoy imali yakhona. I didn't go back the next semester esikoleni because sendiyasebenza ndithi. So like ndasebenza and then kwaswele kumama 2012. Xa kuswele kumama 2012 and I get introduced to ichomi because ndiyahola ndithi ngoku. So ndine salary engenayo, ne? So xa ngena le salary, so ndimkhulu, and one other thing ekhaya ndithengele imoto xa ndipasa standard 10. Yabo, I forgot to say that. So ndinemoto, so yabo ndiyakwazi ukumaintain imoto kune cost ezinzima, yabo. So ukuthi ekhaya bayandi, as much as bendithengele imoto bayandimonitor ngayo abathi ba andenze noma kanjani. But mna as a kid at that age, the excited kuba nemoto and all of those things. Thatha imoto ndiyako Joburg, ndiyadrive ndiyako PE, ndiyaphi, but ekhaya andinikwanga ibudget yokuba ndenze those zinto. So I need to maintain myself ngalonto. Qala lapho ke impilo yami escalate sendiphila ngendlela erongo, yabo, but not realizing uba ndiphila ngento erongo because sengumntwana so excited kuba nemoto and all of those things.
Yeah. And what kind of people are you meeting? So are you, at this point, are you into the gay lifestyle, or are you into a criminal lifestyle?
No, at that point, I was living with gay people. And even when I committed the offense, I was living with gay people. It's just that angithi ngimina was exposed to that. I got the peer pressure. Imina ofika wazenza mkhulu amongst my peers. Remember, I'm 18 years old and nemoto ngoku, yabo. My peers who are gay, who are my age, esenga basa tertiary, yabo. But every time when we go out, ikhona imoto kasizwe, ikhona into yokuthi. So mina, I'm taking that big role yokuba no, I'm gonna be fund this, I'm gonna fund this. Ngithatha la role yokuba mdala. Ndirasha stage sokuba mdala in whereby angafanele bangesirash, yabo. That's what happened. So that is where the wrong direction yaqala up. I realized that in prison kuba kwaqala up kuba ngexesha nemoto because I wanted to be big. I wanted to buka phezulu, like I wanted to boast kuba I can afford, I can take out my friends to say anything kanjalo, and ngale internship yanimosha ngikholisa imali. Nayo lo internship yanenza ndaba mkhulu because ndiyazi ba utata futhi afuna ngithenge gross ekhaya, afuna ngibhatala rent ndihlala mahala. So imali yami iyadliwa kuyayotywa kwiwendaweni zobumnandi, and Monday to Thursday, you understand? Imagine we are young and you were gay, trapped in a hole, and so phumile kulo hole you exposed to this gay lifestyle. Ufuna ukwenza gay pride ayikho beniphutha yaseKapa yaphi. I used to go.
Yeah, and what kind of partner were you? Because what you're describing to me seems to be like a slay queen lifestyle.
Yeah.
Did you maintain one partner? Were you doing drugs at the time?
No, I've never done drugs in my life. I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. I understand. But the only substance I used to take was alcohol. Yabo? But I won't lie to you. You understand ukuthi yafika in the gay world, you vulnerable, umncinci, and when 18, I wasn't doing ukujola, ukazi ujoyina mfana. So xa sendijola, ngijola nalo, ngifuna ukujola nalo, and mind you, ingane encane yazi ukuthi iyadrive i-right kubo. Everybody's gonna want to date Sizwe because of his status sack.
Yeah.
And nami, because feeling pressured, I feel special ngokuba kunabantu abaninzi abandifunayo, but abantu they're not there because they care. They're there for the benefits of groove. Wazi ukuthi maye ephathini uzolandwa, uzothathwa hanjiswe, mayishodelwa imali usuzoyikhipha. Usizwe naye, usizwe lo umaintaina kowabo. Usizwe lo funa maintain o boyfriend laba ababini abathathu.
So at one point, how many partners did you maintain at the same time? 5,
Nah.
10?
Nah, 3 the most. As much as I lived kwaku wrong, but I never had ukuba nimele. Yes, ungafika mhlawumbe kulo 5-10 ngokuthi ama once off bengisosemgrooveni. Sengithatha inkwenke sesigoduka nayo kanjalo. But not ukuthi ena sengimaintain lo mhlawumbe sengimthengele utshwala, sengimholile sendlini.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I think you are taking us to a world that not a lot of people know.
Yes.
And that's why I'm interested largely in that as well, so that we can learn, because I think in the last 10-15 years we got to learn a lot about gays, lesbians, LGBTQI community, and we're learning about the language to use when we're referring to gays. We're learning about acceptance and tolerance and coexistence, and I think that these kind of conversations are very important. as well, so that we know the lifestyle, because there are a lot of stigmas attached to the lifestyle. We don't know much about that world. Let's be a little bit explicit. You are fucking other men. Were you the one being fucked? Were you the one doing the fucking? How does it work that you are attracted to me in that world? Do you want to fuck me, or do you want me to fuck you?
Well, in my bese sithi and kuya ngepreference yakho. Uyabona xa uphuma kwi-closet ufika ungazazi uba which one do you do, because sonke we get tend, let's be cela le nto engizoyithetha is a bit explicit, but I have to say it so that one person understand.
Yeah.
All gay people bayaqhanyelwa apha ngaphambili, ne? But ekuqhanyelweni apha ngaphambili omnye ufuna ukuthi onwayo apha ngasemva, so omnye ufuna ukunwaya, omunye ufuna ukwenza kokubini, understand? But kuya ngokuthi preference yakho ithini. Mna I tried to fuck another boy, ndohluleka, and I didn't like it, yabo. And when I got fucked, I enjoyed it. So that is when I decided ukuthi let me rather be bottom. There are bottom, verse, and top. Verse, he does both things, understand? He fucks and he gets fucked. And bottom, he gets fucked. And the top, he fucks.
What was it about you fucking another man that turned you off?
Oh well, because loko kusebenza, loko kujuluka, it's too much energy.
Were you not maybe freaked out by the fact that you're penetrating another man's anus?
No, it was not that.
Okay.
I did penetrate the anus, but like it's too much. Ukuzokubamba umuntu ndiyakhathala, ayo hayi ngeke akuyo yami ngeke.
Now you know how it feels to be a man. To all women, you know how it feels to be us, because we need to initiate change positions and stuff like that. So, yeah, if you grossed out, I apologize. I mean, we have to explore these things. It's educational at the same time as well. No judgment. Yeah, let's explore that a little bit more as well. So you're saying that there are people who prefer to be done both. When you got the pleasure to be the one who's being fucked.
Yes.
How would you then know at the beginning which Lomfana Lona would want to fuck me? What if he wants to be fucked too?
That's the thing in the gay world. So abantu abavese who are versatile but bazifuna labels. But I totally disagree, yabo. Ngoba into eyenzekalayo, if you're gay, ubona umuntu omthandayo, nizobuzana hi unjani siyaphila. The first thing engizoyibuza before you even engage further, what's your role? Understand? And then uzosho uba he's top or bottom or verse. Understand? Xa seyitshilo ke, that's where you decide uba niyaqhubeka niyazana kangcono or what. If ubona uba ngumuntu, because I cannot go for usisi ofana njengamuntu bottom, never in a million years. Understand? But ke bakhona abazenza amanqili, understand? So umuntu verse, makufika omunye top, uzothi and I know I'm bottom ngaleso sikhathi. Aphinde ashintshe mase ukufika wena athi top. Abantu bavese banako ubuxoki, they take advantage of the situation, and especially xa ungamazi, yabo. So kuyenzeka lonto uthola ukuthi uyajoyina nomuntu wakho, you find out later, the later stage ukuthi umuntu wakho uverse kanti wena ubottom, yabo. So but xa somthanda ke umuntu so develop feelings, ayikho into zoba sayijika, ugcina ukwamkela uba umuntu wami wake wenziwa, but ke ngoba ndiyamthanda and is satisfying me ngendlela right, uyakwamkela isimo esijalo.
Yeah. And did you find when you were 18, 19, 20 that you are more attracted? Because I've worked with gay niggas as well in my call center life, and I used to quiz people because I'm curious.
Yeah.
And I would speak to guys, and you will find that some guys are slay queens in that world, so their preference is only sugar daddies because of your lifestyle.
Yeah.
When were you grossed out maybe by older men who go to shaben, they're wrinkled, you're not physically attracted to them type of thing?
Exactly. Mna awusoze nje ndibone ekhehleni, never. Mina ngilo umuntu ofuna ukuba independent, ofuna ukuzenzela, nginaleya into. Even nangoku shame, I'm not going to lie, I don't want ukudependela enkwenkweni, never in my million years, understand? At least I be right, I'm be right, yabo. Ndingaceli kumuntu ba cela ngenzele something, yabo, because I believe in independence. Mna ndiyayithanda independence, because xa independent uyakwazi ustand ufuna ukuya eKapa ngoku uyahamba ukuya eKapa, yabo onekhehle xa lithenga umhla 25 uhamba umhla 25 xa lithe futhi awufuni uye khona kunomuntu okushayela umthetho yabo because wena uncenge something from yena yabo. So even my partner, as much as I want to be independent, ipartner yami nami ngifuna ube independent. Xa ifuna ukuya eKapa ihambe eKapa yabo, nami xa ngifuna ukuya eJoburg ndihambe eJoburg, but it's a matter of ukuthi xa sithandana kube ne communication undixelele lingeva sendiva ngabantu ba umuntu wami wenze ukuthi or whatsoever.
Yeah, and I also figured out ukuthi there is a peculiar trend. It's a trend yokuthi older white men fetishize on young black boys. Does that exist? Have you noticed that?
Yes, it is true. Abantu abangamakhehla babelungu, let me say it like this, banayo tendency ukuthi they were married to females, but xa sebebadala mhlawumbe kuswele kumyeni unkosikazi wakhe noma adivorce, but then bafuna ukujola nathi like thina like abantu abancane
Yes.
bafuna ukujola nathi, and then mhlawumbe abanye bayasenzela izinto basiprovidele and bakuthengela imoto ena uhlala nalo nje ikhehle emzini walo yabo. Xa uhlala nalo ikhehle emzini walo liyaphuma liyasebenza mhlawumbe line contract or something likunika imoto liyakusupporta, and amanye they even do this the worst part so uthandana nalo kodwa awuhlala nalo kwalo linomkosikazi but likuthengela iflat somewhere else lifika ku on certain days ezolona but lithandana nawe. They do that, it happens.
Yeah. In your wildest times when you were younger, were you a committed partner to someone or bewufeba nje vele?
Well, ndafeba ndaseka stage sokufeba before ndibothe khona into ngena ndithandana yo. After ukuboshwa kwami umuntu ndambona ba uyajikelana, hayi babantu bayajikelana, but ke maybe wothuswa sisenzo sami ngoba kaloku ekugqibeleni sibi ungahamba pho yephi, understand. So angikaze ngithethe naye face to face ba mhlo kwakuyintoni into edala uba ude undijikele whatsoever. That la nkwenkwe ndandiyithanda ngenhliziyo yami yonke.
What was it? Was it taking, like, I know like you were preaching independence.
Yeah.
You were largely attracted to him physically and sexually. What was it? Was it the chemistry of you being around him and the conversations that you were having?
Kwakuyonke into because the conversation I used to have with him was fabulous. And mna ke andifihle the guy I used to date, he knew I was HIV positive, and at that time struggled kwakwamkela being HIV positive because the contracted HIV positive from a female, but yena wandithanda with my, at that time ngisa accept ukuthi I'm HIV positive, wandithanda njalo and wangandihlebe, and he used to make sure ukuthi andifona baby thatha ipilisi, all of those. That care yakhe was too much, and umhlo sasibambisene 50-50. It's not like wayebheke mina financially. If ufuna ukwenza something sasiya 50-50, wanna travel for a trip sasiya 50-50. Nandibona uthando, nandibona umuntu othanda, because before I used to have abantu who used to like some a trip fanele nibhatale, eat drinks fanele nibhatale yonke lonto, but with umhlo it was different. He loved me ngalendlela because sometimes we used to engage on his izinto, even kusole kumakhulu wakhe, I'm the first person who was there for him, sis sobabini and everything. But up to my arrest, I think in Ampok or something, okay, I loved the guy at that stage, and it took me time to come the relationship is no more there. I used to miss him when I was prison.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the HIV story in a moment. Have you ever slept with a woman? Ever?
I did once because of peer pressure in 2009.
You were 17.
Yes, because of peer pressure. Remember my friends in high school, I was hiding, but I'm gay. So they hang around straight boys. So my crew is straight boys. So my dad used to oftenly, on my weekends, I drive. I Eastern Cape. We've got a house in Eastern Cape and a house in Durban. So he used to drive often on weekends. I Eastern Cape. So my friends used to come visit me. So this one time, I was an intombi zabo ekaya. So everybody's got intombi. Nam gina intombi in high school, but I avoid sleeping with her. But now, there comes the time go say, now wonke umuntu lele intombi zama camera and wonke umuntu, and because of peer pressure wonke umuntu buye ecamereni sephethe condom. Yanazi abantwana abancinci ba oh sendimhlabile usibanibani, we did had sex and all whatsoever. So nami ke ngoku waya umasa waya ecamereni wenza intombi yakhe usli, then waya nosibanibani. I don't want to mention names because I don't like expose their private life. So why, and I had to be labona ba andibe ngowesithathu ngabise ekugqibeleni laba nto yenza, but it was like sendenza nje usho mantozana ngiyanibonga ufishweni umanzi ngiyabonga udinga.
Fuck that shit. Shout out to women. I love vagina. I am hopeless. I love vagina. It's beautiful. It's woman's breast, bro. Have you touched woman's breast?
Yona nje siyabexizela
No. That's where we differ, obviously, because we're sexually different.
Yeah.
I mean, like women's breasts, you touch her. Sometimes I kiss the bum. Women are beautiful, bro. Like,
the six pack in a man is something.
I think men are disgusting. I've seen, pubic hair because I touch my ass and I'm like, I have slight pubic hair. I think men are disgusting. Like, even with my cousins, when we sleep in the same bed, I'm like, even it's family with cousins. It's like, I want to have my own blanket. I find men disgusting. I'm like, yeah, you have pubic, you have hair, No, I love women and the softness and the feminine energy as well. But I can imagine with you, obviously,
Yes.
because of your sexuality, we're two different people in
And
that aspect.
I've come to understand ba yindalo
Yes.
your homosexuality because the different, but I'm a guy, yabo, and njengoba ichaza wena uyachazeka nje izinto but mina ziyandonyanyisa but
Yeah.
yindalo straight.
Yeah, let's explore that sexual experience a little bit more. Did you feel disgusted? Did you come after that? What happened to you?
I pretend ukuthi intombazane I come, yabo, and then ngaphuma ngafika ngiphethe ngetissue khona babona ukuthi ngilalele naye abafethu because I didn't come, but I pretended if I come. I know. Then ngaphuma kuye, then ngayithatha ngayigoqa ngetissue, ngaphuma sengiphuma nami. Vele ngangazi ukuthi uzoxoxa kumanye amantombazane ayi group. Because at high school kujula nge-peer pressure ba leya group ayijoyina le group esquad sobala join nobani yoze leyo nto. Yeah.
Galgelo, let's take a few seconds. Let me give you a survey. Are you disgusted by this conversation? Just double checking because you're female. You're a different gender. Is this exciting for you?
It's a bit weird, but the fact that he's describing what I like in men is it's the same. It's the same.
Thank you.
Shuthi I have woman feelings. Because I call saying that about this thing, but we tell the very same thing. I get shit because we like the same sentiments.
Okay. Abantu baka YouTube are sensitive, but yeah, I hope you're learning something from this. That was the first and only experience from abantu besifazane. Like your first and only sexual experience.
It was the first and only one listed ngayo.
Yeah.
It was. I did get turned on, but like for my friend in high school, I didn't get turned on ndimbuka from afar. But girl, we had to kiss and touch it for me to get turned on. I don't think ngoku I would get turned on if into was running Tinder because sending ndaba exposed kule nto yami okay, understand? So it comes up kuyona too much ngimdala. So nje sengavele nje kufana ukuthi uzobona umdidi ezokuthena off. Sometimes kuyenzeka even now to as a guy, I'm sure it's taken vele nje ikwenze ube turned off.
Yep.
Because of like Kuzan, yabo. But right now, if ngathiwa intombazane zakho I'll get turned off seriously. Like send you nyanya ngisho nyanya.
Shout out to women. Fuck you for saying that. But I get it. Like I get it. Like we literally are in two different opposing things. Shout out to women. Women are beautiful.
Guys are hot.
Women are beautiful in all of their textures and colors. Light skin, dark. I like dark as well.
Dark skin chocolate. I can't have a gora. That's gora thing.
Okay. At what point do you test HIV positive? What were you trying to do when you received the results of the test? What was the lead up to that? And do you know what happened for you to contract HIV?
I actually know what happened.
Without mentioning names, huh?
Yes. What happened is I was a blood donor ka SANBS. So, ngalo xesha khona la kwakuthiwa 6 months you don't have to have anal sex for you to donate. So it was 2011 to 2012 at this was cut. What happened is I go about January with this particular guy, that's Jola Nai, understand? I loved him. So Jola Nai, then guy I think he knew it was positive. Because every time we used to go make sure we buy condoms and the condomize, yabo? And not that I didn't blame it because I even remember the day I contracted in the Lala Nai and then kusole kumama angcwatywe, then ndigule. Yayazi nge-HIV xa ukawa ne-depression iyakugulisa izinto yakhona yachaza uba then ndayalisa esibhedlela and then banditesta esibhedlela eSt Augustine and they found out I'm HIV positive and then ngabala ukuthi who I slept because nami ndanditesta e-tertiary and even as much as I was a blood donor ndanditesta every 3 months yabo ndajonga uba lale bani in the last 3 months and ndikhumbula kakuhle ngelo xesha sano guy sayi Eastern Cape ematatela esibhedlela siyobona umama xa sesibuya i-condom sazithenga sasala emotweni kwakusebusika xa singena endlini ndisizilibala i-condom emotweni sasibhisa senza into zethu athi guy Sizwe go fetch condoms emotweni or can I go? This no baby it's fine. I insisted for you condom was hi baby I trust you it's no problem like yabo ndimfaka awkward position.
Oh yes
Because maybe he was not ready to come out and clearly
at that point.
Yes. Then wavuma just because I think wangafuna ukuniphoxa. Then wangasho lutho futhi. Then umama asweleke. Because mama wayesaphila ngelo xesha. Umama asweleke. Mama when I were very close. Qale ke nibe shattered, yabo? Ndibe down, phatheka kubi. Inguli selento admitwe, esibhedlela koniphatha inhloko. And not knowing ba sendicontract HIV. Ugqirha andrefer physician inenze test nani honestly ubuye test results so no uphethe you are HIV positive but yo at that time yoyika akho umuntu ndifuna ukumxelela utata ngizomxela kanjani ba I've contracted HIV positive or and plus worst part tata nguyobhadala medical aid that yo and plus covered under yena but ndio ndamfihlela tata futhi I don't think wasoleka sazi ba HIV positive because I remember one buzipil says and that is a pneumonia kuye. That's fika njalo chronic delivery but engazo and tata wayenganaki because wayibona ba engumzali medication ajabulela uba ndithatha medication le for me to get better. Yeah. So and that's a pneumonia I get that medication.
Yeah, did you have a conversation with your partner at the time after you found out?
The one who infected me?
Yes.
I called him Saturday and then he told me I was scared ukuba ndikuxelela at that stage and ngoxesha mama seswelekile sesihlukene because they find out mina naye separated but then esweleke ke umama then ndigule then admit St Augustine umama usweleka ngoMay sihlukana naye before mama sweleka or what sahlukana before mama sweleke then mama sweleka then ngingajoli ngizojola ngoJune after ngiphuma esibhedlela nomhlo ngikhama mention sorry I mentioned your name then sizojola ke naye uGuy ngoJune after sengigula khathi ngiphuma nje esibhedlela sengazi ukuthi ngiyagula ngimtshele he was my pillar ngale xesha that's how I was sijola because I was coughing up to him and then he was there for me supportive and even the situation ngamama trying to support me and because I understand about my life came rolling down beningalindelanga bantu ba HIV positive beningalindelanga basolekelwa ngumama into engaziplanelanga zonke ziqale ke ngozini bethe okay ngingadili nezo zinto zinibethayo mina instead andithi mama usolekile obviously mama unibhalile kwi-policies zakhe nento kuphuma imali nento angithi ngiyakhumbula uba ndixela uba bendiphila yaphi impilo ivele ibe worse impilo yami understand I go out of control utata a loving dear parent eze kum njengonyana yakhe ezonikhuza Sizwe stop doing this mina ndimbone as if utata ume endleleni yami or utata kandifuni yabo andifuni nongimamela so ngathi utata abenza into right uzama ukundi I was disobedient but utata uzama ukundibona Sizwe stop doing this nangoku imali kamama yaseyiphumile I was blowing it out ngithenga imoto ndizitshintshanisa ndihambe ndiye koKapa ndiye koPretoria kobani then andithi mina senala hatred ngotata kuqale ngoku ndiphume ekhaya because tata akayiva lento zami zenzayo atata no ngenhlale naye ngenza kanje yabo ndiqale nami ngengondithi ndibe nokucunugela utata umendleleni yami kanjani and there's excuse sokuba utata ndimsizondane yabo yet utata was being a dearly father.
You have to do that as a loving father.
Yes, he was being a parent. But mna ngokuba ndandifuna ukuba disobedient ndamenza utata enhlizweni yami ngathi umbi unjani ndaqala ndamcunukela ndamplalela into ndabona okay now after mama sasweleke sesifind out uba utata nabanye abantwana bangaphandle. So
did you figure it out during the funeral? Were they there to come for the funeral? How did you find out that he had another family?
We found out through messages because tata asixelanga. So tata wayene contract. So sibesisebenzise ekhaya. So we found out after mama saswelekile ba utata nabanye abantwana 3 messages zakhe yabo. So that's when we found out utata had other kids, but he only knew 2 at the stage yabo. Kanti nabanye abantwana abanye abayi2 so sibayi 8 tata xa sisiphelele.
So you were finding out with you and your sister and who else?
And my little brother.
And your younger brother.
Yes.
And what did you do with the information? Did you confront him? Did you have a meeting as a family?
No, we didn't confront him. Sathula nje. But then loo nto yandiphoxa how can tata cheat on my mother and. But I used that as an excuse yokuba ndincunikela utata. Because tata vela ndithi utata wayendikhuza as a parent uba ungenzi into zokuthi ngafuna mina ukusebenzisa leyo nto as a shield yokuba why ndingamfuni utata wayesingavani nento yonke leyo nto xa sixabana bese engagement akakasweleki apha ngekamenzi lutho lapho. Then imali it runs out and it ayikho imali engapheliyo. Then I have to go back home and it unomzi ekhaya utata ndamkele futhi ndihlala ekhaya. It's just that ke utata ngoku sendilimit imali asandinika imali ngendlela ebendinika ngayo because that's why they blow up imali. He was being a parent, a strict parent. Why nigga a tough love? Think I started right or tough love. Then I start planning kuzungu ba okay kuze nibe nemali what do I need to do? That figure out as immature, like I didn't think before, even ngicinge lento because as much as I say I didn't think because I had enough time nento ndayiplana like but it is buzo senhloni ndothi ba kaziba ndangicingani kaziba kwakutheni like literally there are times even ngoku before ndingenele leso story so deep there are times that ba like if utata bekhona ngeba lengxaki sotheka kanje I didn't think of a reaction. I just acted before the thing.
Yeah, before you get to the actual story itself, just tell me the build up to that moment. What kind of arguments were you having? Were you shouting at each other at times?
We were shouting at each other. Tata yan rebuke nam ndiyaphendula nechiki nenkani. Tata yandixelela nam ndiyamphendula vele wena tata ubunamadikazi ntonton all of those things. Sendingena indaba engafanele uba ndiyazingena. So naye utata seqala banjani? La mntwana uthetha too much. Obviously vele ndimprovoke ukuba akabe nala element yokuba antreat ngendlela because into endizithetha kuye zazi harsh sometimes ba wena umama dasweleka ubhujiswa stress sakho nani yabo but naye utata because as a parent naye ungumuntu at the end of the day uzo react because nami ndiyamprovoke so sometimes atanibethe so like ya build up kwakhona beef between mina notata so kuyaziwa ngisho family ba
and living in the same house
kuyaziwa uba usizwe at the same time uba ndithethe izinto tata kangigxothe ekhaya uyanamkela nje njalo and still uyandondla uyandinika futhi imali xa ndiyifuna bandifuna imali yesikolo uyandinika xa ndifuna imali ipetrol ukuba ngesikolweni uyandinika.
But before we go to the circumstance, I'm so sorry to cut you. I just want to say that at this point I think you already knew what are the benefits of someone dying because you say you received a payout for your mother. We'll go to that at some point in this conversation. What was the amount and what did you spend it on? But you received a payout. So you run out of this money. You blow it with your admission and this money runs out. So you are aware that there is a benefit to someone dying.
Yes.
Am I right in characterizing?
You're right in characterizing like that. Because right now, the exposure, bengayazi ba if someone dies, you benefit so long. And worst part, estate kama wanenzi execute. Imini why ozangele amafa kama so njengoba ngumini owamangele I decide about intoni efumana le intoni efunyana lo yezo leona ngisho imoto kamama ndayithatha ndayisebenzisa and ndaqhubeka ndiyithengisa ngendlela engekho wrong yabo because uqesha imali seyiphela ndayithengisa nayo imoto yabo so sendiyazi ba if utata esweleka That is why I'm saying lento yaplanwa.
Yeah, that's the rationalization that I have now run out of this money.
Yes.
In order for me to get more money, whether it's hundreds of thousands of millions, then this guy needs to be out of my way.
Yes.
All right, just build up then to the death of your father. What do you do? How did you plan it?
First, I approach into zeyinkabi, then anamali andithi imali iphelile. Or zithi ngizofuna deposits then angamnamali.
Okay, let's get deeper into that. You approach
before we go there.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. Into eyenzakalayo. Seyiphelile imali angithi I approach the criminal. That's when ngingena in the criminal world. Understand? Thatha imoto yasekhaya le kwakhe kamama before ndiyithengise. Thatha imoto siyobamba inkunzi. I become the getaway driver.
Okay.
Kuyogqekeza emzini yabantu, but I never got caught for that. You understand? But kuyogqekeza emzini yabantu, kuyagqekeza emzini yabantu, sikhesha pha lezo imali nani. But because mina I'm gay and ndihlale so criminals start to rob me. I wasn't ndinika imali encinci. Qala bebendinika imali elinganayo. But sebethi no vele lo akasebenzi ufika apaka imoto lapha sifike kube yithina esigqekezayo. Siyasibese siyofaka izinto and go sell things. But then ndiyabona uba leyo mpilo ayingangami, yabo? And I'm not sokoyika.
You're not built for that.
Yes. So I start thinking of other criminal ways to get imali now, yabo? So because sendibonile the criminal world uba iphila kanjani. So I just block out even uthando lukatata sendiphila as a criminal in my head. Then I start orchestrating his death. And I start knowing about if we start to sell I'll benefit 2 million. Understand? So I start planning about if my father were to die, I will start my own business, give me rights and everything, and still I will maintain a car, but still I'll be able to be having money to splash and everything. This is my ideology in my head.
Yeah.
Understand?
And how old is he at that point? Is in 50s or 60s?
He was in his 50 because he died at 52.
Okay. Criminal world, you're not built for that, and now then you have to do the act.
Yeah.
What happened?
Then now, I'm not built for the criminal world, but literally I've been exposing
Yeah, there's money.
And I watch these shows, criminal detectives, ban. So I get the idea, okay, the only way I could kill Utata is through arson and claim that umlilo ngawubona nje la endlini, all of that. Then you see, ngiyibuka lento idlala ku-TV njalo, and then it gave me the idea. And I went and bought some petrol, and I went ngawufaka in between ceramic tiles, ngalighter endlini. But do you know at the moment ulighter umlilo? Immediately I may speak as news, but I'm telling my side of the story. Ngithetha inyani. Do you know about reality kicked in bangutata lo ngaphakathi? I am the one owayesekhaya. We have ndim owavulelwa umakhelwane to assist utata. I'm the one owavulelwa utata bakaya esibhedlela. I'm the one who asked umakhelwane to drive utata esibhedlela so that ngizosala ndifuna ID ne-medical aid ngemva. But you know ukuthi abantu if they hear it ngendlela wrong bazoyithatha ngendlela be-analyze ngendlela ebayithatha ngayo. But that's what happened. Umlilo walayitwa ndim. Believe you me. When the ulayita nje umlilo, it screams at ndaqala waqala wathi ba. Do you understand the flame ka-petrol? Uthi ba umlilo in your face ndiyothuka same time. Remember futhi kaloku I'm a bit gaily, I'm not strong enough, I'm not man.
And you are also inside the house.
Yeah, inside the house. So ndiyothuka same time. Ndaya ngaphandle. Xa sengaphandle ndithi no. At the end of the day utata I'm lower. And we tried to kumkhupha utata, and Tata didn't even suffer ama-burns. He died from smoke inhalation. I'm not trying to make excuse.
Was he asleep at this point?
Yes, wayilele because I knew ischedule yakhe uba ungena ama-shift and sahlala sibathathu endlini angithi my brother, myself and dad. Baba wayebuya ngesikhathi sakhe, my brother wayebuya ngesikhathi sakhe, nami ngibuya ngesikhathi sami. But sasazana ukuthi uba sendlini ngesikhathi sokuthi because sahlala siba-3.
Yeah.
And what happened is I knew ukuthi utata uzobuya ngo-10 ebusuku. Wayezophuma uthuthu wayengena u-2 to 10 at that day. Ngafike ngamlinda, then ngalala, petrol sengikuthengile. Ngalinda my little brother uba akahamba esikoleni. Yabo, because I didn't want him to get affected. I waited for him ukuthi akahambe aye esikoleni. Then xa ivuka umfowethu esikoleni, what I did is ndamlinda 30 minutes baseyihambile, wayahamba ngo-6. Then around 20 past 6, ndaqala ndayenza into yami and luckily I knew very well that xa ilele uyazixela ngapha ekamereni so that angadisturbeki xa ilele yabo because usebenza ishift uyasazi uba siyahlupha and umuntu onekamera lakhe wayevula xa kuthiwa kusemini so I knew very well uba ngela xesha ulele and he's fast asleep because ukhathele ubuye emsebenzini ndifake ipetrol the light and then boom in my face.
What happened to you in that moment and what happened to him? You were saying that you called the neighbors, but what happened?
Ndandithukile.
Yeah.
Hayibo, what am I doing? Into endiyenzileyo. And I was in panic mode. I think that is why someone born uba usuyatatazela and unento ane regrets ngayo because she could tell through my eyes uba ndothukile ndine like nandingancamanga but nanditatazela around people nandingakhululekanga ndandiziregreta but I can tell this thing because if I tell someone yo umuntu uzothini because what have I done? What have I done? Nintoni into endiyenzileyo. And I was like, yo, I'm praying with that be right. Literally, I wanted that be right.
Oh, so you could not see from the severity of what happened, Uguti, he's burnt and he's dead in that moment. When they took him to...
No, he didn't die in the moment.
Okay.
That also legele esibhedlela. Because bathi basebenzama ukumkhupha ismoke esibhedlela. Unfortunately, he didn't make it because he went into a coma. And the bottom nesa coma because my sister wami oxema police ba ngeke usizwe is very cagey and nguye bese ekhaya and wachaza izinto circumstantial zokuba notata besingavani ndibuye ngoba imali ingasekho all of those things then I was the prime suspect then ndibotshwa kanjalo. Unfortunately,
I'm sorry. So within maybe 5 hours, what was the time lapse? What was the time lapse?
Ndalala nje ekhaya the first day.
Okay.
Wafika kusemalanga. But I was cagey. And ngijonga ngingambheka emehlweni nani. Ndingafuna uhlala nje nabo, ngifuna uhlala ndodwa. Yabo?
And the house is not messed up to a point where you can't sleep in it.
Yes, no. Kaloku utata zange ache guys like ukuba ade ache abe ngathi
His flesh
yeah,
was not affected.
Watcha nje la. Watcha nala kancinci like not third degree, well the first degree burns like ukukhawuleka, wakhawuleka kuphela. But because kwakhona iwardrobe ekamereni and at that time and yayivutha iwardrobe, he inhaled that smoke wardrobe too much ngelo xesha.
Yeah.
And then he went into a coma. Yeah, I think that caused his death too much. It's the inhalation of ilokuzana. Those burns, I don't think nomungacha up now. I don't think you would die from that.
Yeah. And how long did it take for you to be arrested?
It took me 2 days.
To be arrested?
Yes.
What were you trying to say to your family? You're describing yourself as being cagey.
But they did ask because ndimo wafonela family wayixela ukuthi aseyilimele ndabe ndathi nje kunomuntu otshisa ekhaya I don't know benilele nami ekamereni ngibone ngasense kuvutha and then I went out to Tuka then but then we tried to assist utata esibhedlela and they went and asked him esibhedlela ba what happened and then he said the very same thing wathi na wayingazi well really utata zange awubone ba uqalwe ngiba umlilo wathi nje bekhona mina endlini but ubone sevutha endlini akazi ba what happened.
Okay, so he was able to speak briefly before he passed on.
Yes, utata wathetha for first day and second day.
You are arrested on the second day or third day. When did you find out that he was dead?
I found out since toxin because initially I was charged for attempted murder. Ndibotshwa namhlanje ngakusasa ebusuku ngo-11 ngizwa ngomapolisa xa izofaka ibanjwa endlini ba unyana ubaba walomfana lo boshwe attempted murder useshonile esibhedlela and like literally abangitsheli like bakhuluma bodwa.
Oh yeah.
I am so shocked because maybe bayadlala yo ndabana stress calling my sister is angry with me I answer she call yam nalo ke lonto and then ndihambe ke ndiye enkantolo apply bail banike ibail tata kodwa kuthiwe 7 days bail application nge-medium A wela kulindo khona estoxini ngewesfield mind you I'm blonde ekhanda I'm all gay and all out so ngifike medium A I've never like as much as been fine as gebeng, but I've never been arrested.
Yes.
So ndithukile ndistressed andazi uba ndizophila kanjani apha. But luckily very friend ndichebe le nto ndibe nenkqayi yabo ndizama ukuziqinisa ke uba andizohlala with straight people because andikaze ndifunde anything because I never thought ndizofika kulaa ndawo yabo. Okay, then it's for 7 days. Those 7 days, the bail application, I don't get tata ngxoxwe kulo 7 days. Ndifumana bail. Xa ndifumana bail, utata sisi wami elele phaa egodini uyayazi inyaniso. Le cala intimidation ndagwetyelwa lona, but honestly ndandingalenzanga, ndandimoyikisa usisi wami. It's just that wayothukile. She went and lied emapoliseni. Uluyanda, a friend of mine I was going with, he can vouch that uba andimoyikisanga usisi, and kwakhona amapolisa. It's just that I believe kwakuyindlela kaThixo noma inceba kaThixo uba usisi ansisizo, because she didn't feel safe around me. She found it ukuthi uba fanayo xokathi ena dibale, and maybe yandinceda loo nto in the process, because maybe I would have got away with crime because akekho umuntu wachola ibhodlela la petrol, because ndalilahla along the way ngexesha sendithatha i-medical aid nentontoni ndazichola kakuhle because I was caged ndithukile ndazilahla le Claywood. Nobody ever went to look to Claywood, azifuna khona ezo nto ndazisebenzisile.
So you got an opportunity to bury your father in that bail period?
No, I never got to. Tata ndimngcwabanga.
Okay, that must have been sad too.
It's still sad, and enye into esabhlungu nakum nangoku, and akukho buhlungu ayikho into ebuhlungu njengokuswelekela ngomntwana wakokweni noba umuntu oclose naye uyisejele ube wazi kahle ngeke uzuyomngcwaba. It's the most painful part.
Yeah, this is heavy, and I thank you so much for talking about it. Learning, we're learning from you. We're learning about humanity. We're learning about ourselves and what we are capable of. Because in as much as you're describing yourself with feminine qualities, what you did was masculine and aggressive and evil. Unfortunately, your father won't come back again, and it was through your actions that he passed on. But I'm thankful that you flew all the way from Durban to here to share the story. I really appreciate that. Take us through your experiences in prison, your first days. You got bail. What does bail mean? It means you are out whilst uxoxa.
Yes.
And where do you live in that period? And then just take us through the whole prison.
Uhlala, if you got bail phela, you go uhlala ngaphandle, you attend court from outside. But then when I got my bail, I only stayed 2 days. My sister went and lied and said I'm intimidated. So
Okay.
they revoked my bail.
Okay.
And then I went back to prison to await my trial while I'm in prison. Then ngahamba trial, pretending to be straight inside prison, kihlala with straight people because I don't know there's a gay section at that stage. Gangagas. So, and very notorious. But I thank my friends for their support, who supported me at that stage, even though it shows they're true friends. It shows ukuthi abazange bangilahle. As much as ngangenza into ebuhlungu evil enyanyisayo.
Yeah.
A lot of people abanye bajika because of that. Sometimes umuntu wathi ena why umkhulumisa usibanibani because wazange akusupport the time we were in prison. It's because they understand that what I did, it was evil.
Absolutely.
It was ukhohlakala. It was yabona la nto ndayenza nje inobunya nje obukhulu, and literally nami xa ndizijonga ndonyanye kwamna ndothuke, but literally I can't live kulo ndawo in that case because zohlale ndimorose sorry for the rest of my life.
Yeah, you could kill yourself with depression.
Yeah.
If you stay there.
If ngihlala khona, because even talking about it like now like yeah ingiphatha kabuhlungu, and but because I want to open up and talk about it, and mina ukuthetha ngalento iyandihilisha.
Therapeutic.
That's what I learned at jail, because mina even nasejele abantu bethukile how ubulelo bakho omzalayo, how evil, not even umakhelwane, but how can you kill your own father, which means if ungabulala tatakho you can do anything that's evil, but akukho njalo, literally akukho njalo. I regret into endayenzayo even namhlanje like andicinga ndiyazisola. I wish there was a way I could turn back and phone about emotional over this, yabo.
Yeah.
I don't want to be emotional because I know kunabantu mna when I came to prison ndazixelela ba kunabantu bohlezi bengithuka ngalento ba lo wabulala uyise and all of that, and ndiyayazi ba stigma engohamba naso ngishona le ngibheka le people bayohlezi bekhuluma because bawuqhebana ha nangu lo wabulala ubaba wakhe and whatsoever, and yes kunjalo fanele ithathe njengokuba ne-HIV positive nokuba nendlebe zami ezinkulu ndithathe ba into engizophila nayo for the rest of my life, because ngisho amakhehlekazi amadala ayokhombisana even efamilini yakwaNcumatha ekhaya, they will always say how utata died, he was died in the hands of uSizwe, yinto eyohlala ngiphila nayo, and ndiyabulela shem isiblings zami zanixolela, and yo sinothando yabo, especially siblings zami yabo. My sazothetha ukuba I'll even lose my sister during the process.
Sure.
Ndisejele so Sophia kweso stage busabuza ba ena.
Yeah, so we're talking awaiting trial. We're talking about your introduction to jail now. And you're saying specifically that you went to the straight man section.
Yes.
What are some of the experiences as you are awaiting trial?
Awaiting trial in Westville, they make you pay 500 rand, not the prison warders though. The offender, yes, who are gangsters in Nombolweni.
Per month?
Per month.
For a protection?
For a protection, for ukuthi bangakwazi, for ukuthi ulale ebedini. Ibed leke ye-state provide us state but uyayibhatalela kubo. If ungabhatalela ulala khona lezi ingubo lezi zisonga furniture, lezi kuthiwa usonga inja.
Yeah.
And they make sure baziyangcola kulaliswe phaya ekoneni, and they abuse if you don't pay the 500. Izibosha zokuvusa ngo-3 wambe imanzi nabandayo kuthiwa ke ngokuxa sowuvukile after 3 o'clock uhlala pha elentozeni ku-cement.
And how were so you had to participate in that activity, you paid for a protection?
Yes.
Who was helping you out with the money?
I was ashamed. That's why I say my friends, they were there throughout, and they don't mind if I share their names.
Sure.
Onhlanhla Mthimkhulu, Osibonelo, Othulani. My friends bangifuna imali kubona bebengifakela because babesaba ngibachaza the situation engikuyona. Bengenzela izinto mangiyicela oLuyanda Africa, they used to do things for me yabo, ngisho phele oDumsani yabo, even exes like engangisupport financially ngale right, but the xesha sesejele like abanye abantu they felt sorry for good age as much as endiyenzileyo, but I'm gay yabo, I'm part of their community, so at least they must support me ubani abuseki or something, so bengani bachazela. So ngiba alternator, this month izocela ucrack, this month izocela ba for 8 months ngishiyanisa abangani bami to pay those 500 rand. That was awaiting trial.
What happens to someone who doesn't pay? What did you see?
Omunye bamgwaza, omunye bamshaye, omunye bayamsodomize ngenkani, because worst part of the state done so you sodomize if they found out if I'm gay or what.
And you saw someone being sodomized.
Yes.
What does being sodomized mean for the for the benefit of the audience?
Being sodomized ukudlwengulwa komuntu wesilisa alalwe ngendlela ukuthi abantu besilisa balalane like gay people do, but yena be forced. That means that's
it didn't agree to it.
It didn't agree to it.
Yeah. And would it be gang raping or would
sometimes it's gang raping, sometimes we understand about ejele. Let's say you are a big talking into igunya ejele yabo, into the big person in prison. So if ekubiza and you're not a gangster ejele, uyothuka wena uyoba ufuna ukuthini, because angago rape a1 with without you scream or anything ngekwazi ukuscream because uyazi ukubizela his dogs or his, because he's got his crew is going to say lash on him or whatever, do whatever on him, nimshaye or akakwazi or something. So nje it happens sometimes be gang raped by the people by number, or rape umuntu futhi uthule be silent because you're scared for your life.
Yeah. And what was your day-to-day activities when you were there? Nivuka ngasikhathibani? What are you doing on a normal day?
6:30 niyavuka, nondlula ibhedi, nilinda ukubalwa, kuyabalwa ejele ngo6:30. I mean, ngo6:30 siyavuka, sesindlula ibhedi, kuyafika ejele kubalwe ngalexesha. Kufanele kubethe 6:30 nigqibile izinto endizishoyo, yabo. because half past 6 kuyavulwa sibale kuzo kuthiwa uzolala ubaliwe bechaza
Oh yeah, in Xhosa they say that.
Uzolala-
So that if you ever do any stupid shit, uzolala ubaliwe, meaning that you will be in jail one day.
yes so leyo nto ngayibona uzolala ubaliwe ejele ekuseni yabala nanto mama uzobala so uzolala ubaliwe so
And that will be,
that's
so
why-
in the morning it will be like at 6:30 they come and count.
yes
What happens after that?
and then after 6:30 they serve breakfast at 7 which is iparishi like lelele poop porridge and then they serve either imetabela or jungle oats but akuseva le variety namhlanje kuseva this tomorrow kuseva this tomorrow kuseva this ngo7 7:30 no two slices ekuseni with jam netiye ke la khona which elonyanyisayo as if baxova ngamabhuzu or something.
I'm sorry for laughing.
It's fine. It is what it is.
And you never get satisfied with the food there, like it's.
Ooh, you would never. Ngoba ngisho fish ihake ebizayo engakwenzela manje ngendlela right.
Yeah.
When do you tand? But they've got the right ingredients. But bazipheka ngamasibom kakubi but they want you to feel that you're in prison.
You're not in a hotel or something
Yes.
like that. And I mean that's a lot of time.
And then
That's-
besingaqeda ukuthi kwenzeka uphake
Yeah.
kuvule exercise like exercise bakuthiwa kuvule exercise vula ngabo 9 9 whereby you must walk around like the prison
Kuneskanga, there's a space where you
a
can.
courtyard where you can walk around.
Yeah.
You understand? Because each and every prisoner in South Africa has got a right to 1 hour exercise
Every day.
every day. Because I think exercises are for health reasons because ngeke uhlale umuntu as a human being uhlale uvalelwe unganyakazi.
Yeah.
That is why it was done ukuthi I think health said no as much as umuntu eboshiwe but mnikele 1 hour exercise ba aka walk around to lokuza amanye amajele you walk elangeni it depends about where you jele it really has limited access to sun so that's why isibona isibosha masiphuma simpofu the way like just nekhombi it's because uhlale evalelwe endlini.
Yeah.
Yes.
What were some of the activities that happened during exercise? Is
It's
there
either-
gang-related activities?
There are gang-related activities. Kudlala sport. Kunento kuthiwa ukuqobola. The Gunyas meet up. They talk because le mali labo 500 rand bakhokha ngisibaya kwi-gangsters. So they have meetings of what they're gonna do with this money. They're gonna buy drugs. They're gonna sell drugs in jail. Guys, andikaze ndiyibone lento kuthiwa iwunga. Ndikusela ngaphandle. But naxa ndifika ejele I saw iwunga with my own 2 eyes.
What is wrong? I know it's a drug, but what is it actually?
It's heroin that they say.
Heroin.
Yes. If bengathiwa ngavunyelwa nje manje to show the viewers, I think a week ago, last week, I was speaking to the original commissioner of KZN, Law Pesa KZN. I reported I don't like drugs because that's destroying people's mind. And especially that we look at brother Wam ended up taking up drugs because of his stress and I'm sure now after committing my crime.
Yes.
So drugs ndiyazicunukela the mother ziyabulala umuntu right zimenze thathe life yakhe because ukubona umuntu ba has got so much great potential
Yes.
kodwa uyiphosa kwintoni drugs.
Yeah, and what would you do during that exercise hour? Would you have guys? I mean, obviously you're not a gang member. You're not 28, 26, or anyone.
What I did is I used to socialize nabantu abayona inombolo. We used to talk ukuthi life injani like siyabonisana ukuthi lento engayenza. We talk about uboshelweni like achaza umuntu ukuthi wayeboshelweni nanjani because that's how you engage abantu bangaphakathi like you understand the situations abantu abahlukeneyo phaya uhlala nombulali nomdlwenguli nesela ne hijacker all ne fraudster all sorts of criminals and you get to funda ingqondo zabo abanye ezalonto and ejele it's up to you. It's either ukhetha ukuba ngcono noba ukuba worse because ejele ufika ufundiswe ifraud ungayenzi ufundiswe ukubusela ungabazi because umuntu asexalele ba hey thina sasenza kanje ukuthi nokuthi kanje samsegqeza mzini yabantu sivule kanje all of those uba ichecker iba kuphi emotweni bayichecker kanjani yonke lezo you get to learn about their criminal mind uba kuleso space sabo.
Yeah, there's an exchange of skills.
Yes.
That if you hell bent on continuing with your crime life, you would have learned new traits
Yes.
and new skills. And I've had a lot of prisoners say that
Yes.
some of them, if they want to continue with that life, they will come back with better skills.
Yes.
Your case, you're awaiting trial for 8 months.
Yes.
Tell me about your case in terms of your representation and the sentence that you got. Were you being unfairly treated? Were you represented well? Just take us through the whole case.
No shame. Advocate Somo represented me so well. And in the mere fact that he argued a lot of factors, it's just that kwakufanele ngigwetshwe because I was guilty.
Obviously.
Ngiyakwamkela futhi. And should I said kwenye platform I want to tell wrong. Let me just ngicela ukurectify
For sure.
Ngithe ku agenda network mina I could have appealed my case ngiwine, but because I was guilty ndiyakwamkela lokho, I still maintain that yes, icala lam, I studied law, like ndifunda fika jail, like siyafunda siborekile. So umngani wami ukhona umngani ngisa uNcibi wayenza law, ngithatha incwadi yakhe ngifunda ama case studies like kwenzeka kanjani. In my case it was only circumstantial evidence lokhu kuxabana kwami notata, but ayikho into ethi umuntu wanibona or nisenza something.
Sure.
So circumstantial evidence ifuna ukusupportwa fact yomuntu ba athubonile.
Yes.
Or something like that. So in the court of law it doesn't work, but ndagwetjwa based on circumstantial evidence.
What was your plea?
My plea, I was saying not guilty at that time. Angivumanga up until ndigwetjwe. Let me just be fair on that. But sendigwekiwe, I could have appealed the matter, yabo. But that is when I started to accept it's wrong upon into endiyenzileyo. And ne family yami ngelo xesha ndisanda gwetjwa, I was still rude, ndingafuni ukuvuma kuyo. Ndizenza all into sihamba inkantolo nje. Asibhekana nokubhekana abaniphathele lutho kwakuyihambe enkantolo, yabo, because they were angry. It took ndagwetjwa for 2 years, from 2014 bantu baseke bafika ngo-2016 uqala bezanibona, because no bafika 2017 because ndagwetjwa late 2014, and that is my sister lowathi and menze intimidation ngamenzanga, but we were quite close naye, but wafika yena sefika ezonibona ngekayenzi ke i-victim offender dialogue, but ngizomchazela as we go. I don't want kufika sengichaza into ku-stage sokugwetjwa kwami kwenzeka kanjani yonke lonto.
So when you, this is very interesting as well, because there are different, the state will rely on different circumstances to put a case to someone. For you, it was circumstantial evidence. There was a build-up to your father dying, and it made logical sense with those circumstances. Uguti, it probably was you.
Yes.
Not that it was you. It probably was you.
Yasho njalo ngisho i-judgment yami ngisho isho njalo. I remember we work on probability, and in most cases the probability you can appeal it even in the high court, we dismiss it because there's no substantial evidence according to law, because it's in they always say nyanisile abantu but prisoners know about umthetho. It's because sitreatwa ngawo umthetho pha ejele. So we ended up knowing izinto ba la ngenza A B no C kube njani, yazona, because I know ukuba I'm guilty, yabona. That is why I'm coming even on platforms, doesn't it? I'm coming to the world ndiyatsho ba I'm guilty, ndiyavuma oba icala ndiyalazi, yabo. So abantu abayokuthi andivumi, I could have appealed, but ndibe ndivuma. I shouldn't be hypocrites.
No, I get you are explaining to the nation the legal framework, which is the way that you were arrested. You could have easily appealed it because it was based on circumstantial evidence. There was no weapon with your fingerprints on it, with blood, for example, or if you were doing fraud, there was no money that went into your bank account.
Bank account seized.
Yeah, absolutely. So I get it. I've watched a lot of these criminal investigations. There is a difference between circumstantial evidence and the evidence in a DNA and so on and so forth. What happened then in court? How long did it take, and what were you found guilty of, and what was the sentence as well?
I was found guilty. A trial was for 8 months, but maybe I said 2 months in a month in Kantole. But the month that I got sentenced from July to August, I think I could have 4 times in Kantole, whereby each time nasenkantolo postpone, but the time iqala trial kwakuba busy kenkantolo sithathe maybe 30 minutes a day because ungena usibanibani asho his statement usibani statement, like this circumstantial evidence, like my sister would go on the stand, my little brother would go on the stand, like bafakazi ukuthi yes ususe yes bebezwana but however bekhona ama glitches anje nakanje, which wise that i-prosecution yayikhombisa le probability uba I'm guilty to the judge.
Yeah.
Even now the judge azangitshela ukuthi istory engaqhamuka naso was so clever because sasingena contradictions, but however because of probability she's gonna find me guilty.
Yeah. What was your defense?
My defense, I said utata wayilele ekamereni lakhe, so nami benilele ekamereni nami ndabona mina ngomlilo, so I do not know uba umlilo waqhamukaphi. Short and brief.
Yeah, and also your circumstantial evidence in defense of you is that you were the one who contacted the neighbors.
Yes.
You took steps.
Yes.
It's similar to Oscar Pistorius that he did CPR. He called the security guards.
He's the one, like ganginalo yesikamse support ukuthi ngangazi exactly what you said. I said, why would I call my family ndima ufuna le family bayize and all of those things.
You arranged transport for him to go to hospital.
All of those things.
Okay, and ultimately what did
I remember trying to be clever.
Sure.
Ngithi abahamba check ifile yababa esibhedlela ukuthi who's there on the admission. It was
which
me.
Is okay.
Yes,
right.
because Imina, who was the closest relative at the time.
What was then the ultimate sentence? Because you are here now, it's 2022, you're telling your story. What was your sentence?
In 2014, I was sentenced to 15 years imprisonment and 1 year for intimidation.
And they were running concurrently?
Concurrently.
Okay, so you would serve the year and the 15 years at the same time.
So it was not 16 years, basically it was 15 years.
Yeah.
So I served 7 years, 7 months in actual fact.
What were the mitigating circumstances in your favor when the judge is saying I'm only giving you 15 instead of life?
Yeah.
What were the mitigating circumstances? That you were young, perhaps?
Yeah, but I'm young and I was immature when I committed the crime, and the fact that I need to go ngishawe ngoswazi oluncane so that ngeke ngiphinde
Rehabilitate.
le sense esifana nalesi again. I remember that was my judge. My lawyer, he said that then the judge accepted 15 years because the prosecution wanted a life sentence, but he accepted ilokuzana. She accepted 15 years law proposal. He advocate so.
Yeah, and how do you take 15 years? You are how old? You are maybe 22?
No, I was 21.
21.
Yes.
And how do you accept 15 years? Because I mean that's quite a substantial amount of time, and you would not have known ukuthi there's parole and how it works. So that's a huge.
At that time, ngangathi ngiyashona. I was in disbelief ukuthi hayibo ngejele iminyaka u8 iyophela nini nona le, I mean for 15 years. Ngayophela nini nona lo 15 years. Ngoqeda kanjani? Shuthi ngophuma sengiyikhehle ejele. Fanele ngivele ngife and all of those things. Ngafika my suicide thoughts. I cried. Ngigwetshwa. And uzokhala ungekhaleli ba, you have to be strong for yourself. Understand? But then leyo nto ngiyayibonga ukuthi ngigwetshwe because ngisho 2 days ukuthi ngiwamkele ukuthi ngenzile wrong ekugqibeleni. That usoleke ngesandla sami. Because at the time ngihamba trial ngangisa all macho about it.
Yeah, I mean, you had to keep the pretense. If your defense is that you were in the house, you don't know what happened, you had to keep the pretense that you don't know what happened.
Yes, I was keeping very ngangenza njani.
How different then? So there's a waiting trial section. Now ugwetshiwe. Where do you go and what happens to you?
And then when I go to sentenced, I find out there's a gay section. Then luckily, I write an application, move it to the gay unit. Ngihlale khona. And lapho kumnandi nakhokhwa mali. Lihlala kushaka
Yeah.
particular gay people. So labo bangamkela banganika uthando. That small passage, I was 17 at that time. Excuse me. I was 17 at that time. So that small passage, I keep preoccupied, si-right, si-happy ngale ndlela emnandi. But sasiyifamily encane, si-outcast. Yabo manje, like la nto yaqala yangirealize the importance of family. Sengiboshwe nabantu abancane. Labantu khona abantu bangana family, but thina siyifamily encane because remember we are gay in an environment egcwele abantu aba-strong, aba-manly. Thirdly, ojele uba abadala bemizi abanye ba-understand into ekuthiwa yi-gay yabo bashisa ngendlela yabo ethandwa yibona kwala ejele yini nje sitabani yindaba laba ba special nani neyiboshwa ngalazi retreat, but we had to be ubumbano. Then I started realizing the importance of family. That reminded me of my family yabo. That gay passage became my family, whereby sasikhalelana together, sixoxa together. So in the gay section, it's very family orientated. In as much as gay people sikwebhana ngalezo zinto,
Yeah.
but we supported each other throughout. Yabo.
And you spent your whole sentence there.
They are my family. And bangafona ngoku athi umuntu sizocela ungizamele noma i-well call ka-50 rand. If kuthiwa angenawo, I'm gonna try and make means ukuthi bathole 50 rand, but ngikucela from a cousin or from someone, yabo. Or even ask someone as I need to help someone with something, cela ungisiza with something. Because nami njengoba ngihustlisha, if ecela something nginemali nge-right, ngiyabapha, yabo. Or ngibavakashele ngibaphathele ogwayi nani or cosmetics, because ngiyayazi impilo yalapha. It's not as nice as abantu besho, yabo. And gay people bahleli under ingcindezi ewu-2 members, official prison warders, and prisoners. Bezobathuka hayi sitabane nani ibhadi nani all those things.
Were there not moments as you are there that you are being sold or pimped to the gangsters? Well, we know what you with juveniles. There are moments where criminality happens. The wardens ojele bathengisa abantwana ingane to the 28 or something like that.
I heard that ukuthi yenzeka in Sun City. I'm not literally like, but it's Tegwini, it's rare. But ngangizwe ukuthi kunojele bakwenza lokho yabo in Westville. But it never happened in my in my presence ukuthi ojele badayise a gay person. But gay people bayazidayisa bona laba so ukuthi akana family yabo, akana support. So uzophuma as if esontweni or esikoleni or social worker or somewhere. Along the ramps, he's gonna meet a guy, a prisoner who's been serving a lot of sentence. Like the guy where he told you visit in the support. Go to phone and tip and he's gonna end up selling himself short for 20 rand. I'm not going to lie to in. I mean, I'm a very open person. If gangas dies, benzosh. But ginale yonke independence. They pilag me ngaphakathi. So ngazi challenge was no, I'll never sell myself. Yabo. So ejele my friends were supporting me. So bengikwazi ukuthola leyo malana encane. Ngithathe ngidayisa ogwayi ngaphakathi or ngithenga I'm not going to lie. I used to smuggle on phones inside and sell them to prisoners. Like you say Samsung A2 core back then, besithenga ngo-500 la ngaphandle. But actually there's 1,000 rand. Ngithenga as a used phone ngidayisa ngaphakathi. That's how I used to maintain myself through smuggling myself on my phone.
How would you smuggle it?
Through officials.
Okay, so it's not, you don't have to conceal it in your body or anything like that.
No, phela ngithi mina ngiboshiwe.
Yes, so
I can't go outside and fetch the phone.
Okay.
Who's gonna fetch the phone? A prison warder.
And so you pay 500 rands for the phone. What do you pay the official?
300 rand.
So it's a total of 800 rands.
Then you make 200 rand profit.
Okay. And how long
But
did
I'm
you...
a phone athengwa. It's a phone figure namhlanje. Tomorrow the phone is sold.
Yeah, I can understand the demand for it.
Yeah.
It's supply and demand.
Yeah.
How long was that a business that you kept for a year or 2 years, or you just do it?
I kept it long enough. My charge sheets were ngcole because of cell phones. That's the only thing I used to get caught with. Yabo, ngaphakathi file yam is cell phones. Maybe there's 7 charges inside. But the system yakho isebenza kanje. Uzozibuza ukuthi why ngithole parole ngiwena my charges are 7.
Yeah.
It's because ejele if wenza ama correctional programs wenzile and yonke into yakhe right, confirmation yakhe yenziwe, system yakho yenzile. But if sengazi ukuthi I'm due for parole ngonyaka ozayo, I must make sure ukuthi izinto ezirongo angisazenzi unyaka wonke, bazongibuyisela back to my A group, a medium sentence angithi. Then when I go to parole sekubhalwe CMC ukuthi now Sizwe has been behaving for the past year, the only time the parole board it check what CMC wrote and it check it behavior pattern yakho yalo nyaka lo ucela ngayo
That you are eligible for parole.
Yes.
Yeah. You're talking about the programs. We'll get into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Tell us more about the other stuff that happened there that you haven't told us. Because, I mean, a lot of people are curious about the things that happened there. The smuggling of foods and the escapes and everything like that.
Yes.
The stories there.
Well, I don't know much about escapes because angazi kungifikela ukweqa yabo and kwakuyinto yokugcina ngivele ngiyibona ukuthi ukweqa kuzophila impilo yokucasha for the rest of my life ngeke ngikhululeke hleze ngicashela amaphoyisa.
Yeah.
So issue la ukuthi in thinking hello, I mean to say hello, what can I say in Durban, in Westville. Oh, repeat your question. Yes, repeat your question.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying some of the other activities that you're participating in, illegal activities that you were participating in, or other people were participating.
No, I only participated in ukudayisa phone no party phone, but I think of party phone actually it's not right. But the phone ngiyiphatha ngaze ngaphuma. Yabo. Okay. Into engavumelekile ejele ukudayisa insangu, unga, mandrakes. Those are the things as Kapagile in Westville. In other jail you find, in Cape Town you find tick too.
Yes, I come from that side.
Yes, but in thingy in Joburg the drugs are cornered lapha. In this market, the show contraband that's corner. It's mandrakes, wunga, insangu, and my cell phone. The contraband. Oh, and cooking utensils. I'm not going to lie. Even I smuggled a frying pan, your pack, to cook endling.
So explain to us how you can ungathola ukudla in the morning, afternoon, but still be allowed to cook on your own. How does that work?
You're not allowed.
Oh, so you would smuggle it?
Yeah, you smuggle it.
But wouldn't there be a smell? I mean, how would you hide that?
No, obviously. Warders in your unit will know that you're cooking.
Oh, okay.
They'll be on your payroll.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yes.
In the same way that they can smell drugs.
Yeah. And this because the same wardens you're talking about are the same wardens who are bringing in the stuff. So, ngeke athi umuntu oletha something aphinde azoyithatha because ubenefits something and uyazi if eyithatha to the head of prison uzofika ukuthi ena uyena nje elethile. And they are the ones who are buying us. Khona spice kuthiwa yi-6 gun.
Oh, a 6-gun grill.
Yes. Siphume lesa spice besingekho ngiboshwa I remember exactly but sanda kuphuma manje and wonke umuntu uyasithanda. Nami ngipheka ngaso ngaphakathi hleze ngiphuthuma ujele ngithengele 6 gun ngigrile ngayo inyama yami ngibapha ukuphathisa ujele ke inyama umphatha isibindi ivorce or something ufuna u300 wakhe u300 wakhe plus imali la uzothenga ngayo inyama.
Yeah.
Yes. To bring you that meat.
Okay. Did you go to school there? What are some of the programs that you were participating in?
Okay, ngikwenze ama-correctional program. Couldn't take to ama-correctional program ngaphakathi ejele, which is ama-correctional program wenza or changing lanes, new beginnings, nan. In new beginnings, ifike ikwamukela ngesikhathi ufika ejele, ikufundisa ngokuthi you need to start adapting to impilo yasejele. You need to start accepting isijele sakho. Welcome to prison, walk into prison. It basically tells you about the structure of prison. It tells you ukuthi ejele kuphilwa kanjani.
Sure.
Yes. And changing lane, ifike it's ena kade ngiphila lempilo. And manje sofuna ukuphila yiphi impilo. It's a correctional program, yabo. So iyakufundisa lezo zinto ukuthi ufunda kanjani and then steps to follow, all of those things. And then kukhona life has changed, yabo. Impilo iyashintsha. So uboshiwe iminyaka emingaka. But uzofika eminyango sekukhona ushintsho kanje. And abantu bazokufisa ngenye indlela, but you need to thina ejele sifundisiwe ukuthi uzofika kukhona abantu abazosamkela, khona abantu abazosirejecta, khona abantu bangakaze basifune. So you need lokho sithe siphuma sesitsheliwe. This is a program you have to do because vele into ezokwenzeka, yabo. And kuyenzeka futhi, but at least usuyi experience kube yinto obutshelwe ngayo ukuthi lokho kuzokwenzeka kanje. Ukuthi you also going to start business endeavors. Uzame uhluleke, but do not give up. Uzobuyele ebugebengweni.
Yeah.
And there are things that mina ngithi ku right ukuthi ngihluleke than ukuthi ngingazami at all.
Absolutely.
And leyo yinto yokuhluleka, it must give you the energy and power ukuthi ngilokho ngizama kuze kube right.
Yeah. Why 8 years? Explain to us how they calculate years in prison. Because sometimes people, I know because I've learned it and I've studied it, but sometimes people assume life is life, but life is not necessarily life. It can be 20 to 25 years. Sometimes.
Like khona judgment esanda kuphuma eyokuthi because kune overcrowding emajele.
Oh yes.
So kune overcrowding emajele. I think esanda kuphuma last week or this week because ngiforwardelwe.
Sure.
But I'm not gonna say who, a fellow prisoner or chesa nami njengamanje, because prisoners are party phone. So uyangitshela ukuthi there's this, but I'm forwarding ngisho link yale is independent iol.co.
Yes.
So wangitshela ukuthi nayi lo ngayifunda leyo judgment it's ena bekade kumuntu serve life sentence consider after 19 years, yabo, but because of overcrowding so was considered after 13 years.
So how do they calculate? Then my question to you: why 15 years for you? Why 8 years instead of 15? How do they calculate
for
your
me,
time?
It was 7 years 6 months, 7 years 7 months.
Okay.
But parole you are eligible after 5 years ngokomthetho wase South Africa, but jail lisebenza ngale ndlela ukuthi lo consider after you've served half of your sentence, because they believe ukuthi usujezile usuhlalile uvaleliwe, yabo, let them bayokuzama, because namanje ngisasesigwebeni hayi ukuthi siphelile isigwebo, because I still report to a parole officer as njengoba ngila igoli ngicela ngamtshela ukuthi I'm going to Joburg.
Yeah, so you don't have to, I don't have to release you earlier so that you can go back.
No, they know. They even gave me 2 or 3 days ukuthi ngisegoli.
Okay.
Because initially I remember bengithe ngizohamba ngemoto yami.
Yes.
There are friends of mine who stay in Joburg engibaziya, which I was hoping, but next time icebo lizozakha ngize kubona imoto yavele yanginika iproduct ngasasifly yakhe, but ke ngigibela indiza yet again bengaqali.
I proposed that you fly the first time we were speaking, but you were like, no, you prefer driving. Criminal record yako does not affect your license?
No.
Okay. You reconciled because of the programs that you were participating in.
Yes.
You were then able to get a visit from family.
Because of the programs, honestly true. Because of the programs that I did, yizo zangibonisa ukuthi what I did was wrong. Can't realize this because ngabona impact engayenza to my family nani. And right now at that time, nami ngase ngidinga ifamily yami. Yabona ayikho into emnandi ukuthi uboshiwe but ube support system ye family, because there you feel no warmth, and you, as you better yourself njengoba kufunda lapha ejele uyazazi ufundela to make yourself better for your family. You need to make your family proud, yabo. Mina I also studied at Majuba College. I have plumbing. I'm a plumbing. I need to do lokuzana.
You're a gay plumber.
I'm a gay plumber.
That sounds weird as I think about it. You're a gay plumber.
So basically, I started in 2017. Ngabhala incwadi to my family through programs, correctional programs. Kuthiwa victim offender dialogue. Lento ibikade idlala ku DS. Khona into ibidlala ukuthi iboshwa zibiza abantu.
Oh yes.
Sengikhohle ukuthi in their program. But it's some I think
I've seen some clips of it.
Yes. It's that thing is a correctional program. Iyenziwa vele emajele for each and every case. Each and every offender must apologize to a victim. Yabo. Even it's not up to go to get to the victim. If a victim iyaxola noma ayixoli, leya program yenzela ukuthi wena uhambe uyoxolisa kulokhuzana kuma lokhuzana, because if futhi wena ungafuni uxola doesn't mean ukuthi you won't go
it
out.
It affects your parole.
No, it doesn't affect your parole.
Okay.
It's just a program that you have to do. But it's part of the healing process. Yes, Caesar. Eyam was so emotional.
Yeah, I was about to ask, like, the first time your family visited.
Oh, it was, Yazi. I always say honesty breaks no friendship. But Lapayana, yes, honesty breaks no friendship, but Nansel. Because my little brother, why mbuze shisayo, yabo? How do you feel that tata kaseko? How do you feel that sometimes lala silambile but tata wayiphila ekhona? Leyo mbuzo was coming to me. Yabo, leyo mbuzo motivated me ukuthi to study further ngaphakathi, ngizame umsebenzi masengala ngaphandle. And by the grace of God, umsebenzi I'm thinking I'm going to next month because someone promised me a job somewhere at their workplace, yabo. And still, I'm still furthering my diploma in tourism management through UNISA at the moment.
Nice
yabo.
one.
But ngiyaqeda this year. But because of anxiety, I didn't register this first semester. I'll register next semester.
Yeah. What was the first thing you did outside? I mean, if you were a straight man, the first thing you did would be obvious.
Yes.
That you would look for sexual intercourse. What was the first thing you did?
Then, something story saying, I've got a boyfriend I left in prison.
Aibo.
We're still going there. So, okay. We're still gonna go there. So like a system yokuthi sifuna ukunichazela ukuthi being gay in prison kunjani basically.
Yeah, let's explore that.
Let's explore that.
Yeah, how was it? Because you were describing Uti, you were tight knit family, you have your own unit or section.
Yes. But that's why system ya SFL khona ama gays. I got the system ya South Africa because ayikho policy that is designed for gay people. Kwakona ukuthi kube khona units ayikho into but it's because of vulnerable group then the heads of center decided ukusivulela units ayikho ku white paper yasejele but gay people exist kwilokhuzana kwi-constitution of South Africa. Uyabona ukuthi there's already a gap in between why kuthatha ngokuthi system yabantu abagenge waze baboshwa yabo. And secondly ejele mabenza kanje abaphathi bakhona, how do you place two gays bahlale bawu-2 in one cell? How do you expose abantu besebenzeni ebusuku?
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Because obviously abantu bazolalana because ubaba ejele akazi ukuthi low top or bottom of us.
How would you recommend what needs to be done? Would you prefer single cell for gay people?
Yeah, that's the best solution. Umuntu ogay akahlale yedwa. Kusho ngoba hlase babo-3 bazokwenza
If you've just mentioned the story of overcrowding now, if we have an overcrowding problem in South African prisons, do you not think that it then continues or it worsens the problem if gay people want?
But overcrowding idalwa yini ejele? Kunama-lifers ejele aseseve more than 19 years, but they're still in prison. And not offense to the minister, but the minister keep 2 prisoners per month. I understand the busy schedule, but for at least 2 days, their overcrowding is a serious problem in my jail. Because my cases all my life as a lazy SIE department enkantolo. Yes. Ngekwazi ukuthatha department you say for because even if you told the court order for it to be correct, they will never say grant this person parole because parole is not a right, it's a privilege.
Privilege, yeah.
That's where that's the glitch about it. So even with police, it's but people work on ukuthi law amnikeza why unganginikeza. I don't know what they call it in law. Ngiyakhumbula ukuthi they work on similarities kuthiwa but law akwenza and never surprise lo cases anjalo.
Yeah.
So that was arguing such matters. But it's because overcrowding na department iyafe kunezinye ibosh thola ukuthi sesiserve more than half of their assignment ukuthi zabo ziphelele but amanye amajele are submitted to the parole submission and because even now if ukuthiwa ngizisukumele into yami ukuthi ngilokuze because ngilungisa parole yami kusa-early and all of those things because parole is there. Understand? Why not give offenders their parole? Yabo? Not that ukuthi aba-behave but ba-right. Kunabantu aba A group aba qualify for parole but they're like being kept in prison.
Okay, so the overcrowding is further worsened by the backlog and their failure to attend to people who qualify.
Yes. And secondly, okwesibili enye into edala ukuthi kube khona backlog. Thina ababoshwa we like to re-offend. It's time ukuthi kanjani sese right sesingaphandle sesibuyele ebugebengweni. Why umuntu ancamele yazi mina ngisho ukuthi danothi ngibuyele ejele ngiyodla uphuthu lekabishi every day. Why don't I just go sell ikabishi lapha emarket? Because ngeke ngamtholi ngisho nawe ngicela ngicela ngiphu 200 sokuthenga ikabishi. Ngime nje lapha ngicela iqiniso ngempilo yami ngisicela ngiphu 200 ngichazela istory sami angifuni ukubuyela ejele. Abantu out here banomusa banenhliziyo sichaza istory sakho people are there to assist you.
Yeah. Maybe what else before we go into the relationship? What else about prisoners? You were talking about them being bullied by gangsters as well.
Yes.
In terms of gay prisoners, the protection of gay prisoners. What else would we like to see changing?
I would like to see the fact that our jail behind some programs to teach them about gay people so that they understand them. Allow the NGOs, ama gays or ama LGBTQI to educate the system ukuthi umuntu ogay uphathwa kanjani, wenziwa kanjani, and nalento ukuthi do you find ukuthi umuntu ogay mina ngigay yes i-preference yami ngithanda ukugqoka ingubo zabantu besifazane but khona uthanda ukugqoka ingubo zabantu besifazane yabo, so why ungamprovide i-dress yakhe umuntu besifazane, because that's how he's comfortable with his sexuality yabo.
It's not going to attract men more.
As much angithi vele usuhlala kwi-gay unit and mohlala kwi-gay unit uyaziwa ukuthi you are that thing, uyalala and automatically ejele once waba gay uyalalwa kanti noma abazi ukuthi khona abalalayo yabo all the time. Nalento ukuthi thola ukuthi ena umuntu ogay sekuthiwa yini nani yabo, umuntu akayekaboshwa kawu-2. That's what I'm arguing ukuthi angingaboshwa ukuthi ngiboshwe icala ngiphinde ngizoboshwa ukuthi again I can't live ilungelo lami lokuba gay yabo leyo yinto.
What if someone says to you, you are an offender? You don't deserve any of these privileges that you are fighting for. I understand the human rights aspect of this.
Yes.
That overcrowding is not fair.
Yes.
Treatment yabantu is not fair, and that's not right. But, and this is an argument in South Africa all the time. Why television? I mean, every time prisoners are shown watching television, I'm like, but what's wrong with them watching television? Yeah. But South Africa, I think the majority would say, this is not a hotel. Why do you expect to go to the
Okay, society, let me educate you. Ejele is not a military force. Umuntu kutwa, it's no more prison. It's a rehabilitation center. According to Umthetho South Africa.
Yeah.
So Umthetho South Africa uthi abantu bafike beyo rehabilitator for ukuthi babe ngcono, hayi ukuthi babe worse. So mawuzoba ill treat abantu ubaphilise ngesandla sensimbi, umuntu umenza ukuthi abe njani, because sengigwetshwa 15 years yes ngizohlala pha 15 years ngiphathiswa okwenja ngenziwa inhliziyo yami ibe yimbi, kanti instead fanele ngakhiwe ejele manje liyamolda. That is why kukhona into zokuthi recreation ejele kuthi kukhona abajimayo, khona educational activities, because kuyafundiswa umuntu wakhiwa kabusha. They are being rehabilitated. They are being, it's no more because a correctional center. We are being corrected from our mistakes. As njengoba nami ngi-corrected, I am a living testimony of that. Ukuthi ijele lingisizile. In as much as ngicomplain ukuthi ikabish nani, but ekugcineni ngiyazi angifuni ukubuyela ekabishini. I need ukuze ngingaphile ekabishini, kufanele ngiphile kanje A, B and C.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Your relationship in jail then. We're trying to wrap up the conversation, but there are a couple of things I want to go back to with you before jail. But let's wrap up jail before I go to my other point. Was that a loving relationship or just a circumstantial relationship? You just found yourself there and that's it. You found this is the person that is going to be my boyfriend or something.
Well, I would say I fell in love with the guy. Mm-hmm. In prison. Sorry. Because we were there. Yes, because I fell in love because of circumstances. But I grew. Lolothando, yabo. Sihlale sihlupheka sobabili. We shared things ekluphekeni. We got to know each other. He was like a brother to me. He's a brother to me. He's a brother. Like, he was more close to me than anybody else, even my friends outside, because even my dreams, his dreams and all of those things. So basically, it creates a bond. Even now, I visit him from time to time. Like once a month, I have to go visit him.
So this is an ongoing relationship?
This is an ongoing relationship. And I plan to marry the guy. We are actually engaged. And we're going to marry...
Congratulations. Congratulations, bro.
Okay. That is why you find me on Facebook as Sichaba Mapanga.
Oh, yes, and you told me that, yeah.
Yes, his name is Mapanga. His surname is Mapanga.
Yeah. And how is that relationship for you? Because I remember...
I feel like a boyfriend, I'm Pumile. He feels as if I'm cheating. Because I used to tell him about my previous life, yabo. Like, he feels as if... Like now, I'm jealous in the interview, but he doesn't know who's going to interview yani because be kuluma eshesh, yabo. Like... Engals go to interview and the shot that I'm in Joburg, yabo. He's thinking go to Ibo saying your phone some. He's always insecure, yabo. But the insecure back. I'm not going to lie. We are on that part as well, because shooting sayana umuntu ongangithembi yabo. Trust is a very important aspect.
But
However,
it feels like a long distance relationship. Like
Yeah.
this is what would normally happen
Yeah, I
in a
understand.
long distance relationship.
That is why I'm trying to say ukuthi ngi-understand.
Yeah.
I need to understand ukuthi yena ukuphi, mina ngikuphi. And mina njengomuntu akufanele ngithi baby, ungayenzi into ukuthi ungangicabangeli into ekanje kanje. Mina I need to reassure him ukuthi I'm there for him. That is why I make sure ukuthi angijombi inyanga ngingambonanga.
Yeah. And how long is he gonna stay before he comes out?
Due to baby he was a murderer and he's arrested for murder and robbery. But we're going to try, because I've studied law and everything through as much as I was doing diploma in tourism, but we asked ukuthi masihleli sonke in school sihleli lo wenza ilaw wenza ini sihlale happy khona unisa happy ejele. So sihlala sithatha ibhuku lakho sengilifunda sengizi-understand ngibuye ngizobuza wena wenza ilaw si-justify sibuka kanje kanje nakanje, because khona umngane wami kusawunjabulo Ndlovu, he was acquitted for icala rape, but wayengayenzanga yena honestly, but wayegwetshiwe. But wayenze appeal yakhe wazophuma ngisho endabeni. It was
Incredible.
Yes.
Incredible.
So ake bahlezi besho abantu in society ukuthi akekho umuntu ozomthatha njengesiboshwa. Truthfully true. Yabo.
Yeah. So like back to the question though, do you have hope that your boyfriend or your fiance is gonna come out soon?
I have high hopes because I'm going to try and appeal this. He's got a life sentence. He's served 13 years so far from 2010. It's 12 years because it's 2022.
Yes.
He served 12 years. By all means, we are trying to get his transcript so that we can draft. I'm going to do the drafting myself, emotion for appeal. I'm not going to apply for an appeal for the reduction of sentence.
Oh, okay.
Since I'm mitigating factors, he was young when he committed the crime. Siyamcelela, sibhalisa affidavit semdala, uyamdinga ekhaya, all of those things. Simcelele enkantolo. Then inkantolo are very intelligent because khona umngane othi amajazi went the very same thing from life. Bamnika 25 years. He went out for parole immediately.
Okay, so they reduced his sentence.
Yes.
Yeah, you believe that he's your fiance is a rehabilitated man?
Yes.
In your interactions with him?
He's a very rehabilitated person, and from into ayiyon from now, like ngisho ejele kufike kuhlunyezwa umuntu. Akafuni ngisho umuntu ontshontshele omunye wenza ubukhotsi. Let's say ngibeka le ncwadi phansi yakho sasayintshontsha soyidayisa. Boyfriend wami is gonna make sure ukuthi yo ncwadi njengoba siyithatha sahamba soyidayisa iyabuya back to the owner without him paying any cost. Wena ontshontshe uyavela obala ukuthi wenze into wrong.
All right. Whew. This was beautiful. As we wrap up, I know there were a couple of things that we skipped past because I didn't want us to rush the story. I wanted to give it time and take care of it.
Okay.
Yeah, because we can't be reckless as we interview people with their life stories. And I'm happy that we spend so much time. It's almost 2 hours as we're speaking. How much money did you get from your mother's death? And what were your purchases? You were talking about recklessness. What did you do to her? What were your siblings saying about her asset? You were the executor. How much money did you get from that? What were the assets? Did you get houses and stuff like that? And did that not create conflict between you and your siblings in the way that you were spending your mother's money?
Well, it did create conflict because with my siblings, well, for one, the pension fund, the GPF, or having an will, understand? With GPF, zonke and they get equal share. And my mother was married to my father, so 50% went to my father, so we all got the same share. But my life covers Oban, but all I mean, I got about 30,000 rand in total because I think old Motorang has 400 and some change, and then Metropolis on 200 and some change, and then I leave graduate my education, besides you get my pension about almost R1 million.
In total?
Yes, because I remember because kona imali ngayibali le yelokuzana ye pension fund because that's what I'm 125,000 sonke.
Yeah.
Yes, because all of us are four ingane then baba thola the other 50% as the living spouse.
Yeah, and geez, that's quite daunting. You are 21, 22.
Yes.
And you have R1 million.
Yes.
And
le mali iqhamuka ayiqhamuki yonke one time iqhamuka le ifike spend west ifike le kusakhona enye kusaspend angithi kumnandi kunjalo angikwazi ukuyicalculate ngiyibona after effects hayibo sengispend imali engaka because there's no budget for yona, there's no plan for yona.
Yeah. What were you normally spending? And what were your exorbitant expenditures? Did you buy Mercedes? What did you buy?
I bought a Polo, I bought a Megane, I bought the last car I bought was Almera. And then the rest was spending, traveling to Cape Town, booking ama-hotela, uhlale hotel the whole week and spending food. Leyo into ke abantu would take it lightly ukuthi uhlale hotela kubiza kancane. But uhlale hotela uzofike udle ukudla kwase hotela, ibill uzoyibona yesonto ifika ko 45,000.
Yeah.
Yes. But the 45,000 a week, how much amounts in a month? Like almost 100,000.
Yeah.
Or
That's
200,000.
That's 190,000.
Yes. In like a month.
In 4 weeks.
In 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Uphinde futhi nihambe niyothenga impahla, njengesimpahla, ufuna ukusupport your boyfriend ngala, baphila lavish lifestyle. Sabathi babuya ngikhuza ngihambe ngiyorenta ama apartment at the sales abizayo komhlanga, yabo, all of those things.
Yeah. And did your siblings feel as though you distributed the assets properly? How many cars did your mom leave? Did she have properties as well?
Like my siblings, as much as singakaze sikhulume lento, yabo, but I know ukuthi bayivele bayiyeka nje lento because abantu abanoxolo, yabo, that I know about them. I go ngithatha advantage because of that. Sonke ekhaya sinje sinale personality. Sifuna ukudlula entweni ngokuthi sixole because once ngahlala ngihlele entweni izongilimaza mina wena usala right, yabo. And secondly, yes, my siblings were angry at that time because even my father was angry. That is why lento ayidala baba, because my father was getting lento engangiyenza at the present uba bebona ukuthi kwenzakalani and baba mdala uya understand ukuthi kwenzakalani ngemali, yabo. So literally he was one to speak out, but now I find out ukuthi wonke family ayibamba ama meetings between, but ubaba athi thulani nganzama angifuni ube ngathi nina niyakhuluma akhulume mina umzali.
Yeah.
Because my father wanted ukuthi me and my siblings singaxabani sihlale si right. Yabo ukuthi how loving my father was.
Yeah. How are they now to you now that you are out? How long have you been out again?
Oh, they support me. I've been out from the 28th of March.
This year?
Yes, this year.
It's still quite fresh.
Yeah.
Let me touch you. Like, it's still fresh. Yeah, I know, like, there's tragedy in the story. I'm not making light of any of all of this, but Sizwe is still a human being and is a man, and I have to relate to him as a man as well. Uguti, I can imagine freedom yako. How did you feel at the time? So, bagwazi ukuthi bakwamukele when you were out, and how did you feel just being
First, initially, couldn't submit so I was upon parole. Ngangisaba. In as much as the family I'm being vakashele jail. Being saba to use my family address as the principal address. Ngaphumela ka boyfriend wathi sikhuluma kungaye. His name is Mondle, ngaphumela kubo. But my brothers bangifela ngisana kuphuma Sizwe asithanda ngalento ukuthi uphume kwelinye indawo unekhaya lakho.
Yeah.
And that thing touched me. My brother saying like that because I was expecting them ukuthi bangafeel kunento ukuthiwa ngisaba ukuthi bazongisaba mhlambe around them, maybe after what I've called the nature of crime I've committed bazongisaba. But bona bakhombisa uthando because my brother uthi into sokunyaka nasays ngwasekhaya, we need to give you a chance and asikwazi ukuthi ukulahle emgqomeni and we're a family, we need to be united, so sicela ubuye ekhaya. And now I'm living with my two brothers, Yandisa and Dizwe, and we love each other. So yes, the reason I spoke about bawena abanye abanye ingane ngaphandle, but lezo ingane phela sihlala noma wabo kanje, but sina sihlala emzini ngababa noma, not that ukuthi sixoshile yizona ezihlala emzini zikhule zikhulana noma.
I mean, they learned to live and live their own lives independently from you guys, because it was not a family that existed to them. Their family was their mother.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't wanna. There's something I just wanted to ask to find out from you now.
Ask me anything.
Yeah, like I don't, because I want to explore the part. Oh yes, the world changes in your 8 years in prison, 7 years, 7 months in prison. What were the fundamental changes that you noticed? I mean, it's only been 3 months that you are out. What were the first things? I mean, there are floods in KZN.
Besides,
all of
let's just not talk about floods.
Yeah.
Friends have progressed in life. kufuna ngikwamukele ukuthi ngihamba ngelane yami. Friends are owning properties now. Friends are owning lavish cars. Lento le ngaboshwa ne-grid, understand? So now I need to adapt to the new life yokuthi mina ngihamba kwelane yami ngizama ukustrugglisha my own life, yabo. Ngizofika ekhaya akusekona le moment kwakuyona, yabo. Ekhaya I need ukuthi ngizame by all means. Mind you, ngine criminal record. Mind you, akulula ukuthi ngithole umsebenzi. But I pray to God ukuthi ngithole a stable job, literally, because I need to be the umbrella yomuzi wasekhaya ukuze ube right, because into engiyiphilayo njengamanje ngiphilela umuzi wasekhaya. Lo wakumuzi kaManduba, because I need to renovate umuzi wasekhaya, because umakhelwane basekhaya ayi ngoba ngithi ngithanda izinto, yabo, but I feel as if ngifaila ubaba if umuzi wakho njeyana, because ubaba umuzi wababa wawumkhulu, but right now kunama window aphehlekile, izinto azikho right, e-dining room kunama TV afile, like ekhaya ihlale khona i-TV, khona i-DSTV, izinto ezinjalo, like is a basic. Ekhaya sesakheliwe ku right, but the maintenance yomuzi, it needs to be an ongoing thing, and ukudla ekhaya kuhlale khona, because now I forgot to mention the public center issue. During the course of my sentence, kushona usisi wami, and it was such a painful and dreadful experience because angikwazanga kuyomngcwaba.
And that's the second person you couldn't bury.
Yes, it was the most. My sister and I were ngimlama. She's like umdala kunami but ngimlandela, and she's the first person who knew I was HIV positive. Who's the first person I told ukuthi I'm gay emakhoneni before I even told him. Like umuntu osasixoxa naye everything.
Yeah. Okay, final one from me to you. And I need you to take as much time as possible with this because there's a learning about this. 8 years in confinement. Not solitary confinement, but prison is confinement.
Yes.
You can only go this section at this time and so on. Are you rehabilitated? What did you learn about yourself? Wazintoni ngawe ngoku as izinto bungazazi as umuntu, and did that experience greatly improve you? You can take as much time as you want to explore uba with the amount of time, because we always speculate about njengoba singamajita ngaphandle ukuthi Jesus Christ, if I'm looking at 10 years, every single day would feel like a year, and you have so much time for introspection, so much time for regret. What did you learn about yourself that you didn't think you were capable of in those 8 years?
I learned ukuthi I'm very impulsive. And being impulsive kuyangilimaza, because even my decision to kill my dad was impulsive. About being impulsive, through therapy, I realized, because that's what my therapist said, so to reflect on your thoughts always and see that back then. And now I am able to tell, to think before I act. And you think, I always like to say, think and see a reaction. I keep on seeking the end, because in engiyipilayo and what I say, because your reaction yakhona ngeke zibe mnandi, yabo. And like right now, into mangizoyenza, I must think about people around me. Ukuthi wena uzoaffecteka kangakanani, yabo. Ukuthi the next person uzoaffecteka kangakanani. If ngifuna ngicheck ukuthi ama pros and cons aleyo yinto, ukuthi either one's affecteka negatively or positively, and if ngenza something I must choose into ama positive amaningi ngaleso sikhathi, yabo, irrespective of ilo ukubulala. I will never kill again. Dala ngicabanga ukubulala, but into ekeyenzeka lento ukuthi bengade hambe siyogqekezela abantu njengoba kade sisho, leyo nto iba affecta kanjani abantu baluza ama TV abo, umuntu akasena TV kanjani, and ama cons ama negatives akhona lapho ngazigcina ngizibona sengibuyele ejele. Yini emnandi ukuthi ngiyohlala ejele. I will say this like this, I have to say it, uhlama, because you have to say father kubabe ingane encane, yazale, you have to respect umuntu ungeke uzomhloniphe ngisho ngaphandle, yabo, because if ethi yavala uyavala, if ethi yavula uyavula, and izinto zakho uzenza at a limited time, awuzenza ngesikhathi sakho, awukhululekile. Ngisho ukufuna ukuyofunda, you may say education i-right ejele, but ngisho isikhathi sokuyofunda ufunda ngesikhathi esithandwa isystem yasejele, ngeke uyofunda ngesikhathi esithandwa wena, yabo. You don't have a sense of freedom. Yonke into yakho is being controlled. Awuzenzeli izinto ngesikhathi sakho. So that's what I'm enjoying njengamanje. But answer to your question, ukuphuma kunjani? I'm able to do izinto ngesikhathi sami. I'm able to do izinto ngendlela efunwa yimina. Some man, I don't have to ngendlela futhi efunwa yimina engazu impact omunye umuntu negatively. Ngenza izinto zami ngendlela right. Like njengamanje, I had a problem with the car issue. Ngathi I need to make sure ukuthi ngiyafika in Joburg because I want to share my story. Ngifuna abantu out there to know about my story, and rather abantu bezwe ngami than ukuthi abantu bahambe be and I know ukuthi lento i-reacher abantu abaningi, even because people will share it even to my family members. Omunye osabayo kungibuza, but that is where bazothola khona healing. Abaye bazokwazi ukungixolela because after listening to me, and I say to you out there, ngiyaxolisa for into engayenza. I totally regret it, and I know ubaba in heaven wangixolela kudala, yabo. I know that, yabo. But even umphakathi ofila as if ngenza into wrong, ngiyacela ngithola inhliziyweni zenu ukuthi ningixolele. I'm a better person, angisayena lo wasizwe lo wayeboshiwe, because ijele system, as much as ijele ngingacomplain ukuthi njani, but umsebenzi walo liwenzile ngami. But I do not want to khuluma manje. Maybe 5 years down the line, I'll be back here, senze ishoso sixoxa ukuthi sizowenzani in life, kanjani, sharing a testimony. Because ninginte ngifuna ukuyenza one thing about right, ngifuna ukuvula NGO that helps gay prisoners, that deal only with gay prisoners. And secondly, khona abantu bangena ama-visit ejele, ngibasize ukuthi umuntu kube khona i-funding ukuthi bathole izinto, lezo zinto ey'cinezelayo ukuthi umuntu afile like an outcast, yabo, zisize abantu. I want to help umphakathi. I need to go out there and share my story even to iy'ngane ey'ncane ukuze zazi ukuthi zingabi impulsive, kufundisa nge-impulsiveness le enginayo ukuthi it can lead you to i-danger le engase ngiyiyona, to indawo le eyangifikisa kuyona. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you so much for coming through to Joburg, taking a flight and taking your time to share your story. And thank you for responding to my message when I reached out to you. I really appreciate that. And thank you this is one thing that other people may not know. You made an effort to be a trustworthy person, even in my small engagements with you, that you're coming, this is the problem, let's solve the problem. You were sending screenshots, you were sending proof that you've booked the flights, and I can see that it's a concerted effort to see ukuthi abantu kumele bangithembe ukuthi njengoba ngiyisiboshwa, they can't entrust me with this responsibility and I break the responsibility.
There's one thing I learned in prison. Trust is a very important aspect, because do you know ukuthi ejele sihlala in a confined environment, ngizofuna usizo kwena because ngitshathi nguclever, but mina ngizivalela usizo olukhulu than that. Do you know ukuthi maybe kuza kwami la, maybe bengizothola i-job opportunity or something along the way, but because sengize ubuclever ngiluzani ngokuthi ngenza ubuclever. Beware of ukwenza izinto ezisheshayo ezamanje than if investment for a future, yazelo, because mina sengigazi ukuthi ngelinye ilanga ngafona ngistranded la eJoburg, ngithi ngistranded eJoburg, ngicela ukusizwa kanje nakanje, ngiyazi ukuthi ngizolithola because ngibe like uba umuntu ukhuluma iqiniso uma umuntu.
Absolutely.
Be straightforward. That's like literally into esihlulekayo siyabantu lesonke asikho straightforward. Yabo, straight talk breaks no friendship. Yabo, into futhi ngikwazi ukuyenza ngeke ngikwazi ukuyenza, finish. Yabo, if you're not comfortable doing something, you're not comfortable doing something. Stop ukuyiforce wenza izinto ezingekho right, and ungaphileli abantu, because abantu ukuphilela abantu kuzokulimaza.
And that's that then. Sizwe Ncumatha, thank you very much for joining us.
Okay, thank you.
There you go. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. If you're still here 2 hours later, thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Thank you, Khawkhelo Sebata, for your great work.